doctors are not the expert.
They're experts in stabilization.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if you go to a medical doctor or specialist, their job is to stabilize you so that you can go home. So they're not healers.
Mm-hmm.
They want to get you home and out of their hair. And bonus, if they get you on a subscription plan, aka drugs or injections.
Yeah.
Or they go for the high ticket, which is surgery. Right? So their expertise is in stabilization, not in healing. So that's a huge understanding for any adult human being out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, today was a great example. We had a client show her labs to me, and she has to go to her medical monopoly doctor once a year to get labs in order to keep the insurance going. And the doctor wants to put her on statins because her cholesterol is high, according to them. Now, her cholesterol was 234, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In our world, that is not high. In fact, cholesterol, the limit used to be 300 just 30 years ago. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So 234 is actually a nice score if you have the understanding that cholesterol is very important to your soft tissue, your muscles, your tendons, your brain, your eyes. So then we have to look at other markers. CRP is one of them, C-reactive protein.
Yeah.
Her C-reactive protein was under a 1, which is phenomenal. Great, especially for this woman's age in the 60s. Fantastic. Her triglycerides were a 54. Perfect. Her alk phosphate was fine. Her homocysteine was fine. It's like everything was fine. And they want to put her on statins. And it's just such a prime example of the misunderstanding that's happening in the American medical monopoly system. Because if you put this person on statins and the cholesterol starts coming down, how do you nourish your brain? How do you nourish your muscles? People on statins notoriously have muscle cramps. They notoriously, sometimes, a lot of times, end up with a brain condition.
Yeah. They start to decline. My mom, actually, she didn't tell me this, but I was like, she knew to get off of them. She started taking them and she didn't really read what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a statin. And she said ever since she was taking it, she noticed like extreme brain fog.
Yeah.
Now, she's off and she was like, I'm fine. I feel better off of it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. You know, if the cholesterol is quote unquote high, but the triglycerides are fine, and the CRP is fine, and the alk phos is fine, and the homocysteine is fine, why the heck would you go on a drug? It's so backwards. And this is why I don't put that much stock in the blood labs. Because we're not looking at any root causes here. We're not.
Yeah.
We have another client who, you know, hands me labs with all this immune stuff, right? The white blood count, it's not the root cause. Those are symptoms based on the immune system. If we were going to try and use blood labs to determine root cause, then we would need to see the nutritional profile. What's the selenium? What's the copper? What's the manganese? What's the magnesium? Can't look at calcium because there's too much context with that. But, what's the EFAs? EFAs are complicated by themselves. EFAs have a nutritional profile by themselves. That's at the root, because we know from my book, Reverse the Cause, there's 7 root causes to disease. Nutritional deficiency is one of them. Your immune system is not a root cause. It's a symptom. If you have poor immunity, it's a symptom. So, and people see their blood labs and they just get freaked out and scared. Why wouldn't you? We've been trained to since we were 5 years old. When we started taking tests in kindergarten, and we went through so many years of school taking tests. What do you do before a test?
You get nervous.
You get nervous. So, it's the same thing with blood labs. I'd be willing to bet the people that pass out from the needle going in their arm isn't always the needle. They're just thinking about, tomorrow the doctor's going to call me. It's just this high stress situation. And it's like, I got to get my labs.
I wanted to piggyback off of one thing that you said when you were talking about the immune, like it's going off the charts and such, that doctor's main goal when anybody's sick, has cold or some type of overgrowth or infection, is to just delete all of the symptoms, which in this case, the symptoms are trying to heal the body when the fever comes or when you're coughing or hacking up mucus and such like that. The body is trying to expel these toxins out of the body.
Yeah.
But we're diminishing that. We're just like, muting the cough, getting rid of everything.
Treating symptoms.
Yeah. And so we're just going against the body's natural process. And we're taught to be scared of that when it's not the case at all.
Right.
And so very well what could be happening on that person's immune is just her immune blood labs. It's just the body's trying to fix itself. So.
Yeah. Well, I think our catchphrase and message says it all. Mm-hmm. Stop treating symptoms and start head to toe healing. Mm. That's the message to the world. That's the message for the next 100 years. Stop treating symptoms and start head to toe healing. And if you want to do that, it's going to absolutely begin with a head to toe analysis, which we'll talk about later. But that's getting an analysis is what's going to show you the root causes, not a lab report. A lab report doesn't determine the position of your spine. A lab report doesn't understand that you have 7 out of 10 symptoms checked off in the blood sugar category, or the gut category, or the hard tissue category, or the soft tissue category, or the mental health category. Mm-hmm. So,
before I kick it over to you, Karen, I just wanted to set out a friendly reminder of what we were talking about before, the head to toe analysis. This analysis is built to test other areas of health outside of the blood.
Yes.
And so what we're doing here is essentially not just giving you the picture, like let's say for a GPS, somebody gives you a picture of the place you're supposed to go to and says, go find it. It's somewhere in New York. Yeah, good luck with that. That's them zooming in to the actual issue and saying that's the problem, as opposed to telling you how to get there. So with the analysis, we are basically giving you the roadmap of what's